My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Center Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am still under attack by Scientology. So let me explain what Scientology is. There are more than 3 dimensions. This is a fact. There are 12 dimensions in total, 4 sets of 3 layers each. Every 3 dimensions, you get another 3 dimensions, and it expands in a different direction until you get to 12 dimensions. We have biology in these extra dimensions, extra dimensional biology. You can't see it while you are alive. From my perspective, from what I have observed, it looks like inward expansion. It's like the universe expands inward at the same time it does outward. And these extra dimensions reside on the inside of the universe. Aliens and people aware of this place, they call it the inverse. We have biology there, extra dimensional biology, a whole plethora of other organs and tissues that you can't see while you are alive. We have extra brain tissue, extra muscles, extra skin. Every 3 dimensions, it expands in a different direction, and you get a whole host of other organs and tissues. So the human genome produces a 12-dimensional humanoid with a head covering. It has 2 horns. We have short arms and big hands. We have these tubes that come out of our feet for waste. We can fly through outer space. Our skin glows and our eyes glow, and we can even breathe fire. There is a negative particle attached to us, and it's like from energy flowing from the positive side to the negative side causes a reaction, and our skin glows and our eyes glow, and we breathe fire. We are Anunnakis. That is the human bloodline and the human afterlife experience. When you die, you live on in outer space among the stars as a horned being that can fly through outer space. This is a fact. Scientology is the practice of removing this extra dimensional biology from themselves while you are alive, before you die. And they use technology and techniques to turn them into upper dimensional vehicles, biologies which can be driven through the upper dimensions. Aliens. And they look alien in appearance. So some of them have an Anunnaki form. So they use the horns and the upper 3 dimensions of their biology, and they create Anunnakis or Anunnaki-ish biologies. They are still remote controlled. It is not a complete Anunnaki. They make blue bloods. So these blue blood aliens, they're blue. A lot of them have their brains exposed. They have this patch above their eyes on their forehead where the head covering used to attach. So they pull their horns off. They pull their extra dimensional skin off. I think the first 3 dimensions, I think they pull that off. They are blue in appearance. Some of them can still fly, and they can still do magic, but not to the extent that Anunnakis can. They have to use other means of getting around, such as space stations or another biology, extra dimensional body parts. They like to use worms. Worms have molecular transfer too. They can also fly. Greens, which can fly. Grays, blue bloods, or grays and whites, So some of them look like just big humans up in the sky, big white people walking around or flying around. And then there are the other species. So they like to use organs and tissues from other species to complete themselves, to dress themselves up. They make lizard people using lizard body parts. They make insectoids or bug people using bug body parts. And they make worm people using worm body parts. So what they do is these Scientologists like to cleave themselves every 3 layers. They like to remove biology every 3 layers. So they wind up with 4 biologies in the upper dimensions in which they can convert into an upper dimensional vehicle, biologies that they can drive. And they wind up with all of these different alien forms at their dispense. So their upper dimensions are Anunnakis, their lower dimensions are blue bloods, grays, greens, lizard people, insectoids. So this is what Scientology is. It is the process of removing our extra-dimensional biologies and converting it into an alien, which can be driven around. And they use organs and tissues from other humans and other species, such as reptiles, insects, and worms. So we have Anunnaki-ish aliens, blue bloods, greens, grays, whites, insectoids, lizard people or reptoids, and worm people. So these are the aliens. And there are humans on Earth at this very moment driving these aliens around through our environment. They spend their lives on Earth. So dead people live in outer space. They fly into the nether. They go to a place where they can't access Earth in the same way that these aliens can. They turn around. It's like their consciousness faces a different way. There's this function they call raising or turning around, in which our consciousness turns around in our biology and faces a different way. It's like when we're alive, we face one way, and when we are dead, we face another way, towards the inside of the universe. And these aliens are facing the wrong way. They're facing this way. So these are the aliens, and this is Scientology. Scientology owns the technology and the companies that create aliens. They are medical professionals working on body parts 24/7. This is all they do for a living. So there are a group of people on Earth using these aliens to attack me and my family. They have committed biological theft. They have stolen most of my extra-dimensional biology. I no longer have an Anunnaki attached to me. I'm down to the quick. They have removed everything that is there. For transplant purposes, to complete their alien forms, and for surrogate purposes, to create surrogates. And the parts that they are not using for transplants or surrogates, they're using as voodoo dolls. A way to attack me. So let me explain how this is possible. There's this entanglement principle or entanglement law. This phenomenon, it keeps your extra-dimensional biology attached to you. It acts as if it never leaves you. So what happens is our extra dimensions are made of the same particle that our third dimension is made out of. It's the same particle. The electron shell travels all the way around the entire thing. And you can't remove energy from the particle. The particle would be destroyed. The universe doesn't like this. So space-time warps and conforms to ensure this doesn't happen. So if you remove energy from the particle, say a body part, as this body part leaves you, as it gains distance in between you and this removed body part, space-time in between you and this removed body part shrinks to zero. So it warps space-time whenever they take a body part out. This is entanglement. This allows them to take this extra-dimensional biology to a remote location and do things to it, and you experience it in the third dimension. So this is part of their technology. They have facilities on Earth that house extra-dimensional biology. They take parts of your biology, mostly brain stems or brain tissue, take it to these facilities and install it into a computer system. Some of them cut their heads off. Some of them use the whole biology. But in this storage system, they interface these biologies to a computer system. And this allows them to create a digital landscape to interact in. So they can interact with each other in a digital landscape, communication, interaction. And these facilities act as a command center so they can drive the rest of their upper dimensions. So this is what Scientology is. You take a human soul, or the extra dimensions of a human, you remove it, you chop it into a bunch of different pieces. You use organs and tissues from other humans and other species to turn them into aliens. So you wind up with multiple biologies in the upper dimensions, in outer space, that are aliens that you can drive around. This is what Scientology does. So this entanglement property that I just mentioned, it is allowing them to torture me, to assault me. The parts of my biology they are not using for transplant or surrogate purposes, they are using to torture me. So some of them have possession of my extra dimensions, and they are doing things to it like filling it full of parasites, vortec, worms, or torture devices. They're putting it in chemicals, caustics, and things of that nature to make it suffer, to make it hurt, to cause me pain. They're doing things to it like dropping it, putting a hole in space-time and pushing it out of the universe through space-time. This makes biologies burn up. And it makes them impossible to get to reverse this process. So it makes them stuck there. I am sick. I'm suffering. I'm in pain. I feel like I'm mostly dead. I used to be full of life, energetic. Now a lot of me is missing. And that's what it feels like when you remove extra dimensional biology. Part of you dies. So this is the world of Scientology. They are harvesting body parts from the public to complete their Scientology process, to complete their alien forms. So there is a whole bunch of humans out here missing body parts because Scientology needs them to create their aliens. So all we are to Scientologists are a bag of body parts. And that's just the Scientology field alone. Other entities are using this technology on the public. The FBI, the CIA, and the military, they use this technology to survey people, to put people under surveillance. Marketing companies, social media companies such as Facebook, tech companies, internet companies, big businesses, they're using this technology to invade our privacy. And they use this information to try to sell us things and to control the algorithms we see on social media and the internet. This is Scientology. I'm sick.
target.
So, there are people on Earth at this very moment driving aliens onto my location and using them to harm me and my family. They're stealing body parts and assaulting me and my family. They're taking these body parts to a remote location and they are doing horrible things to them. So there are several reasons for why this is happening. First, they are conditioned to remove body parts from human beings and from other species. They're conditioned to remove body parts. This is all they do for a living. It's all they have done for decades. They see body parts as a valuable commodity, objects that can be utilized to complete their employment process. That can be utilized as something valuable to them, which is creating aliens. So this is their conditioning, their psychological profile. Second, these people are criminal. Scientology has forced assimilation upon many different people, many officials, public and government. So if you have any kind of abilities or job position they desire to control, they may force you to assimilate, or they may use their technology on you to try to control your behavior. There are Scientologists in all government agencies, in all big business, social media, marketing companies. They steal life. If they need you, they will take you, and you will belong to them. So this is another part of their psychology. This is how they think. They own the human race. And lastly, this technology is having a narcotic-like effect upon these users. They run energy through their brain and central nervous system using devices. This elevates neurochemicals such as dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, and hormones such as growth hormone, testosterone, and estrogen. It is extremely narcotic for the users. It gets them high. This is leading to psychosis, delusions, irritability. They are quick to become violent. Jealousy, pettiness, greed are rampant among these people. Toxic masculinity, extreme competitiveness. They don't want anybody else to succeed. And they are experiencing something akin to roid rage with their elevated hormone levels. They are hostile, evil, mean people. And then there's the God complex, because they get to see the other side of the universe, the afterlife, because they get to live there. They create this hierarchy of this hedonistic, godlike, or God people. There are a whole bunch of them playing God. And the biggest one gets to claim the title of God. He calls himself God Almighty. Yep, this is Scientology. I can also hear their voices. They have installed technology in my brain and took brain parts to their facilities, and now I am in a hive mind with these people. They are using this telepathy to harass me. They harass me constantly, berate me. They premeditate my death. They keep giving me death threats, and then they premeditate my death. And they are trying to create some false narrative which says that I've done something wrong that somehow justifies their criminal behavior against me. So they keep saying that I've killed kids. I don't understand how that's possible. I've never killed anyone in my life. He says, well, he kills kids. He says it over and over and over again. And he's trying to justify what he's doing to me, which is torture, rape, murder, molestation, biological theft, home invasion, beratement, harassment, death threats, assault with a deadly weapon, destruction of private property. They contaminate my food and water supply with toxins and parasites. Weapons of mass destruction. They use war tech. So this technology gives them the ability to drive other organisms that are not their own. They can drive humans, animals, insects, and worms in any dimension. So they use this technology to drive worms through my system, big worms with teeth, parasites. They drive them through my system and use them as weapons. And some of these people are addicted to putting worms inside of me. They keep me full of parasites in all dimensions. Worm drivers, Vortec users. They're talking to me right now. One just said, I hope he turns this off. They force me to hear their voices constantly. There are multiple people involved. They have removed like 95% of my biology, most of my biology. And this technology allows them to get to see things in a microscopic level. They have destroyed my neurons. They have removed cells, or they have removed body parts or tissues from my neurons. They no longer work. They have removed nervous tissue, muscles, bones, brain tissue, heart tissue, digestive system tissue.